It was 90 here on Sunday.
We could do like that movie where they switch houses, you know, Cameron Diaz. They switch houses for 2 weeks. We should do that.
Oh my God. It was 90 on Sunday. And then the temperature dropped 30 degrees in like 2 hours. It's crazy.
We are definitely now live.
Live? Okay, cool. I gotta fix my chair.
Okay.
Steve jamming.
Honey, you can see.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to Bayshore Christian Faith Warrior Basketball unofficial alumni page. I'm Chris Pate from the class of '87. My co-host and is, as usual, the distinguished 1986 grad Steve Rodriguez. This is the unofficial alumni page, so the views and opinions of the host and the guests are solely our own and do not represent those of Bayshore Christian School in any way whatsoever. As usual, what you're going to hear tonight is a lot of truth, a lot of half-truths, some tall tales, and some really big lies. So buckle up. Tonight's going to be hotter than a cat on a hot tin roof. We've got 4 smart, sophisticated, sassy, sexy ladies on here. We have Julie Griffith from the class of '92.
What up? What up? Hey,
guys. Jacqueline Cortes Searcy from the class of '93.
Hello.
Amanda Bush, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, Keovongsa.
Pretty good.
From the class of '95. And then Melissa, Missy, Cabot, Medkiff from the class of 1997. Ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome.
You're welcome. Thanks for being with us. And take it away. Tell us about yourselves a little bit.
Start with Missy. It was her idea, so we got to start.
Listen, this was not my idea. Neither was your 50 posts a day with all these pictures and like you can watch it and what are you going to talk about? And
we're trying to build up our ratings.
Who sanctioned y'all digging up those pictures? That's who I want to talk to the manager. Look, I'm gonna go full Karen. I want to talk to the manager. Who did that?
Who's that guy? Oh wait, no, that guy.
Yeah, I don't approve none of that using my likeness from 30 and 50 years ago. Stop doing it.
Right.
30 and 50 years ago.
I was enjoying one of the.
I recognize myself. I said they have more black people.
More black people. Oh, and we were watching one of the earlier podcasts, and you guys were reminiscing about one of the Final Four games, and it was my year that I was there cheering, and I was thinking about this ride home that I mentioned in a comment or something. And so that's really the idea I had was of that memory. And then it just kind of, look at us now.
Look at us now. Here we are.
That's right. Well, tell us about that memory, Missy. What was the memory of the drive home?
Well, I meant to tell you guys earlier. I should have asked, like, what are the real rules here? Because it's like, I had to take down a couple of comments, which I thought were really pretty PG rated. But we decided as a team it was best to remove them. So I got to tell this story, but I got to make sure it's, it involves inappropriate behavior, Steve.
Tell it.
What?
Tell it. Hold on. Which
teenagers inappropriate behavior?
Okay. So we were leaving that game. I don't even know what year it was. It was John Tree, John Fielder, that
1994.
So, yeah. So we had Miss Nola Pyland was the coach for the cheerleaders. She had this real thick country accent, and she was super sweet, but you couldn't mistake this accent. So she was driving up the Sunshine Skyway, maybe, I think it was. And she was just really nervous. She was petrified, and she kept yelling, girls, sit down, be quiet. So, of course, that makes us not sit down or be quiet. So we go to the game. We ended up not winning the game. But then the drive home, we were just, cruising along. It was a long drive. We're back on the bridge, and I looked out my window, and there was a person in a car, a man who was driving his car, but he was also, shall we say, pleasuring himself. And so I was like really, truly confused. I honestly was not. Like back then, I didn't even know what that means. So I'm looking harder because I'm trying to figure out what is going on. This is really weird because of the way the foot was up on the dashboard. And it was just, we're in a van and it was on the bridge and he's in a little car. So of course I've got Jody was with me on the bus, and with me on the bus, probably Shayla and Sarah on the bus, everybody. So we're all now over in this window of the van on that side, just looking out the car. And so then Miss Pylan already was freaking out about the bridge. And then she realizes what we're looking at. And she's like, girls, sit down, stop looking at that.
Oh my
Anyways,
God.
so yeah, I was educated, but I was also traumatized on that ride home. And so anytime,
That takes some talent.
and that's the story about the red car on the way home.
That never happened on any of our rides.
No.
Let's go to Julie. Julie, some of your classmates call you Downtown Julie. I guess from Downtown Julie Brown, MTV fame. We've got Downtown Julio Griffith here. Tell us about your time at Bayshore, memorable story. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Oh my God. So I am class of, we're like K3 through 12th grade. So I guess when I came to America in 1987, I enrolled at Bayshore Christian in fall of 1987. And I think I was 12, going on 13. So I was actually put a year ahead instead of a year behind. And so I graduated in 1992, but I was on the newspaper, the yearbook, JV squad, of course, varsity cheerleaders, of course, varsity volleyball. Shout outs to varsity volleyball. And I had a really good time. I had a really good time at Bayshore. It was a great springboard to go to A&M. I love the fact that it kind of got me accumulated or assimilated to the American culture, American high school and, wearing Keds and, remember we used to wear Keds and fashion and all that stuff. It was really my introduction, like my coming to America was going to Bayshore Christian.
That's great.
So,
That's totally great. You've got a lot of fans on here, and want to turn now to Jacqueline Searcy, which was Jackie Cortes back in the good old days. And I know you've got some stories, so share it with us, Jackie.
See, everybody's very PG here, so I feel like the Sesame Street, which one of these don't belong? What's not like the other? That's me. You guys are like rated. I was here to talk shit. I'm allowed to say that. I don't even know. Is this really? Can we? Can we? I'm really scared of what to say because everyone's like, "Oh, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know." I'm like, "Oh my God." Man, then I was just bad.
But I do now. I know now.
How did I miss that post?
I didn't do my job.
How did I miss that post? It all got deleted? All of it?
No. There is a post, and it's still there. And there was just one little thing that an acronym, and it just sort of okay. I mean, sorry.
No.
I see some things at Bayshore has never changed.
So Jacqueline, we know we're going to get some good stuff out of here. We're going to now ask Amanda to join us and tell us. Wait, what'd she say? I missed it. What happened?
Jacqueline, what years were you at Bayshore? You were there when I was there.
Right.
I was there 11th grade, and then so it was 11th in my senior year, 12th grade. That's it.
What years? What years was that?
Oh, gosh, 91, 92, 93.
Yeah, because you came like super late, but we cheered.
That's the only thing I came in super late in.
Cheers.
Hello.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, he's cute.
Stop. My dogs are fighting.
Let's jump over to Amanda. Amanda, tell us your Bayshore moment, graduation year, favorite memory, most memorable. Let us know. Tell the fans that are watching.
All of Bayshore was like family to me because my home life wasn't wonderful and it was never anything that I ever really shared with anybody. But when I went to Bayshore, I was able to make my own way, and I poured into sports and I poured into academics, and everybody is of value to me because they literally were my family. The teachers were my parents, and the sports were my education on life. Julie, we did more like volleyball. She was so fierce. And I respect her so much because there were so many times that she just glared at me. Like, get your shit together, girl. Come on, we gotta get this ball over the court. But you know what? She pushed us, and I respect her, and I loved her. And I knew that there was a soft part because of her brother, honestly. He would always be nice and kind. I was like, okay, I know Julie's really cool. And it's always been fun to collect with Julie. And I always have respected her for that. So she pushed me in those rounds. And I have always loved her for that. Jackie was instrumental in just learning about life. And always.
That's a nice way to put it, isn't it? We learned together, and she was also instrumental in helping out with things when I had issues with life. So we always had a very close bond, and she is a dear soul. And we mentioned Melissa earlier, how we run in circles of strong and empowering women. So Bayshore, I went there from 83 to 95. I kind of checked out a little bit junior and senior year because home life was tough. But at the same time, again, everybody was family. Gigi and Tracy and everybody was just instrumental in my life. And I just appreciate everybody. And I absolutely love keeping in touch with everybody.
Oh my God, Gigi and Tracy. What's Tracy doing now?
Tracy's amazing. She's going everywhere. She's just amazing. But also, I need to give a shout out to Brenda and Luke and Brian. I told everybody I'd give them a shout out. And who else we got here? We got Tree and Jared and Sarah, Michael across the 95.
Okay, well, let me turn down my phone. I gotta give a shout out. Hold on, I gotta give a shout out to Kyle Frisco.
Right?
Kyle Frisco.
My people forever, when me and Kyle used to ride out every morning, and he would come down Del Mabry and pick me up in the Honda two-door Civic. And we used to go come down Del Mabry, acting a fool, listening to damn Striper. He had me listening to this crazy rock. I was looking at Kyle like, every morning, Kyle, just crazy. But he used to get me to school and get me home. And that is my people forever. Kyle Frisco in the building, and he's on the chat. So what up, Kyle?
I have a fun fact about Kyle Frisco.
What's a fun fact? He's taller than what we thought he was?
Our moms were best friends their whole growing up. And so he's actually my god brother.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's awesome. Forever. Kyle Frisco, Tommy, who else?
Wait, next time you come down though, and if you eat barbecue, I want to be in that.
In what?
Next time when you come down and you guys go out for barbecue, I want to be there.
Yes, girl. Last time I came down, I went out with Kyle and we acted a fool and got some barbecue. Oh, it was so impromptu.
I know.
In Carrollwood Village, like, hey, I'm in the city. I'm at Mom's house, and it was on. Oh my God, we had so much fun. Next time I come in town, it's just listen. Come on, guys, everyone get together.
Yes.
Hang out.
January 16th, Julie, come to the alumni game.
January 16th.
January 16th.
If we can get out the house, if we're not in COVID and just like looking at four walls, I will be there.
Hey, Missy, switching back to you, and then we'll go to Jacqueline. Tell us a little bit about, we just heard all the shout outs, and your family, the Cabot family, is, of course, Bayshore royalty, goes back to the beginning. All of you young ladies are Bayshore royalty. Tell us about some of who you want to give a shout out to and some of your experiences beyond that first story, which I disagree with Jacqueline. I don't know that that's PG, but it was really, really, it was really funny. It was really funny.
I tried.
No, it was good. It was good.
All right.
This is an adult show. It's an adult show.
Okay, yeah. So I wouldn't really know where to begin, except I was K to 12 there. So 79. I was born in 79. There's pictures of me in my dad's classroom. He's shown me off to his students in high school at the time, where I later attended Mrs. Way's high school classes in the same room, where he taught Bible. So, you know, I watched all of these three beautiful ladies, and like Julie, I can remember Julie with her short hair. I remember her looking in the banging uniform, doing all her cheerleading, whatever. Plus, I remember her spiking the ball like nobody's business and serving overhand. So
that
I had
was my
really
anger management. Anger management.
The privilege of the front row seat to just like this whole amazing era. So that's, looking back, you know, I'm able to appreciate it for the amazing foundation that it gave me. You know, I couldn't wait to get out of there. You know, Amanda said she checked out for a while. I definitely checked out long before I left in ways. I wanted to go somewhere that I could just be Missy Cabot and not be Pastor Rick's daughter. And so, you know, it's just neat now, though, that everyone's reconnecting and being able to celebrate all the glory of it, because it was amazing. It was magical. I just didn't appreciate it the way some people did when we were actually there. So,
right, well, we're just looking at it. You know, when we started the podcast, it was really about Bayshore actually did matter. Like, I remember when I first started practicing law, you go downtown in Tampa and some guy would say, you know, hey, how are the Bucks doing, whatever. And then they'd say, where'd you go to high school? Oh man, I remember when y'all played Jesuit. I remember. And when you look at where Bayshore is located, South Tampa, Ballast Point, Bayshore Boulevard, the connection to Twin Bays Theater, Britain, Julius mentioned Carrollwood and Dale Mabry. It's just a unique location. So that's really cool stuff. And I think we just lost Jacqueline, and we were about to go to Jacqueline.
Oh, wow.
Can everybody see her? Can y'all see her?
No.
Yeah, she's still there. I think she just paused her video.
Sorry.
Jacqueline, no problem. When you get back, we're going to want to hear your next story. Let's go back to Amanda and hear from her. What do you remember, Amanda? You gave the shout outs, but like, what about your cheerleading sponsor? What was game night like before and after? What was it in the off season? Like on Saturday nights when cheerleaders weren't cheering, what were you guys doing? Where were you hanging out? Tell us a little bit about that. Oh no, Julie's already shaking her head.
Yeah, I'm probably the wrong person to ask for this, because everybody knows that my current stepfather, I was never allowed to do anything. I was fully on restriction ever, never allowed to go any place. I could only hang out with Jack. I could only go and do sports. So the only thing that I had was when we went places before the game and got to hang out. So I got to hang out with Beth and be introduced to Nirvana. I got to hang out with Jackie and Christine and just hang out, and we had a lot of fun. And Billy, you always had fun over there, and I got to be a normal kid when I was able to do school stuff. But after that, no, I hung out with Billy. Well, I didn't really hang out with Billy.
Which Billy are you talking about?
Matthews.
Bill Matthews.
Oh, Billy Matthews. Oh my God. Lost some thought. Well, I can definitely tell you, don't ask me nothing about hanging out, because as you guys know, I was home, school and home. Nowhere was I going. If it wasn't a book, I wasn't going anywhere. So the best times I had was the bus trips, all the away games. So we went to like Lakewood and Miami and Opelika, even going over to Clearwater. All that fun time with you guys. That was my hangout.
Clearwater was an amazing game to cheer at. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh God, I still remember Clearwater. Yeah. I used to really like going to Lakeland. I like Lakeland. Yeah. I thought that was a fun game every year.
Mm-hmm. I'm calling bullshit on the sweet girl.
What happened?
Well, Julie, I remember you at some of the parties, and mine mainly it was senior year, my 18th birthday. I mean, all of Brandon, Bloomingdale, Armwood High School was at my house. I mean,
so Jackie is a Brandon girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brandon and Bloomingdale. Oh my God.
Right. Yeah, she drove all the way from Brandon to go to Bayshore.
Yeah, Steve and I are Brandon guys. We drove that trip.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We played Bloomingdale, didn't we?
I told a couple people about my party. A couple meant about 500.
Give us the party stories, Jacqueline. Give us the party stories.
I don't remember whose party, because I remember whose party was that was near Arnie Demo and Chad Wooten and all them.
Chad Wooten.
What do y'all come on here and help me out? Because
they used to live out on what you call it, like near Eisenhower, right? Like because we used to make a left to go into Carrollwood Village. So if you made a right,
it was up that way.
It's like, yeah, it's in North Tampa where we live. So you know where the Publix is. Carrollwood Village North, you made a left, but to go to his house, him and his brother's house, you would make that right. Then it was those really big houses on the lakes right there. What is it called? It's like kind of not as far as
Lake Magdalene. Lake Magdalene.
My brain cannot remember shit from back then. I mean, as far as
I'm telling you, I have a brain freeze. Like I have a fog. Like, is that I can't remember half the stuff.
The best part was getting ready for the cheer games. When we would get our, everybody would get their makeup going, their hair in the ponytail.
I just don't have the same like Mary Poppins stories as you guys do. I remember all that.
Well, is this the good girls versus the bad girls? I mean, what are we doing? I was a good girl. I was a good girl at Bayshore. When was all this stuff going on? Where was I?
My bad was like to everybody else was really bad.
Ladies, if I could interrupt, Jody Peterson, her last name now is Rutherford, is on Facebook and she's asking Berkeley Prep ? Does that ring a bell for any of you?
Berkeley Prep, yeah. Tampa Prep, Berkeley Prep.
But is there a story?
Volleyball, Berkeley and Tampa used to beat us to a living pulp every year.
They just used to play all the music we wish we could listen to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, is there a story? We should ask Jody if there's a story. Do y'all remember a story from Berkeley Prep or Tampa Prep?
That would probably be Melissa.
Our basketball team, when we got like all the good guys that one year, our basketball team, we beat Tampa Prep. We beat the Terrapins.
I remember they were like literally after our school bus and everything. I mean, we had to get escorted out. I mean,
yeah. Everyone used to always beat us up after you won.
Let's go back to Missy Cabot and ask her. Amanda just brought up an interesting point about how we weren't allowed to listen to certain music back then. Tell us
they would have Sir Mix-a-Lot going and everything going on. We would all be going on and just start dancing and going down.
We came back from a cheer camp right behind them. I mean, it was Jody Peterson's year.
Which cheer camp?
It was a cheer camp at UCF that we went to together for the weekend or something. But we came back and we of course had worked, for 3 straight days on this routine and it was amazing. And then we got back and we weren't gonna be allowed to do it because it was one of those songs that we weren't allowed to listen to. And so it was like this huge ordeal. We were so angry and we had to like beg and plead and cry. And then they finally found somebody who back then, this was a big deal, was able to take out the words, I guess, or they found somebody that could make it so we were allowed to do it, but it had to have no words.
Go ahead. Excuse me. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask Steve, what was his question going to be?
I don't remember because I'm completely enamored with Jacqueline's drink there. And wishing I had some beer. So I don't remember the question. Maybe Chris has a question.
Julie,
I got a question for Jackie, actually.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, so
I just want to say one thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. It's too many women because we're all like, I just want to say one thing. No, I'm serious. I'm looking at Amanda. Amanda, you know what I keep thinking about? You guys, Amanda's side swoop of her hair used to be so player. Like her bang.
It was brown.
Remember her side part and her bangs?
Yeah.
They never never move. I swear to God, before the game, bam. After the game, bam. Her bang game.
Right, Julie.
You have that drape, and this is before you were a blonde. You used to have all that dark curly hair, and you used to mousse and scrunch it within an inch of his damn life, and it was so fly. And you were like this big, and it was just all the hair. It was just like cascaded, but your bangs were the best bangs in the business. I mean, those suckers are not moving. I
appreciate that.
I'm getting a flashback. Like I could totally see it right now. Like just the swoop.
Oh my God.
I cannot wait to hang out with you.
That's my cheerleader flashback.
Well, thank you. Absolutely love you.
So
Oh
funny.
my goodness. Well, Steve, I don't remember your bangs at all from back then. So, well, yeah, actually, I did have a question for Jackie because I think she was has firsthand knowledge of this folklore tale, and it has something to do with the state semifinal final basketball games up there in Tallahassee. Can you tell us a little bit about that trip there, Jackie?
I'm scared. I'm scared now.
I'm scared.
That's why I went to school.
You can change names or leave some names out.
Maybe I will make myself the only participant in this just because I don't want anybody to go, I never did that. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it was all about sneaking out. That's what I remember. But
Right. So everybody snuck out at the state tournament. We already have a problem with that.
I'm going to say there were some, but I will say the girls stayed in we stayed in our hotels.
Of course.
I won't mention any names. Some people came over to visit. Now, what happened?
Is this why we did not win a state championship, for God's sakes?
Oh my God.
Oh my
Did this cost
goodness.
us a state title?
That's hilarious.
That is hilarious.
That would be on the guys. There should be absolutely nothing that stops you from winning. You cannot blame anybody but yourself.
Haven't you ever seen the movie Rocky? You know, women make men's legs weak. That is
Women weaken legs.
that cost us a state title.
Nope.
Well,
You know what was fun about state though is that huge arena and painting BCS like on our legs and painting and cheering. I think we did. I cannot remember, but it seemed like we cheered pretty perfectly during that time. I mean, considering we weren't, I mean, it was just amazing. And Heather Johnson had those toe touches that like went up to here.
Heather Johnson's toe touches were behind her neck, she pressed it behind her head. The perfect toe touch. I could never do a Heather Johnson toe touch.
And
no,
wasn't that the years? That was the years of like Evan Moss and that other guy, somebody that would throw them all over the place.
That was before.
And Andrick and Derek Thomas and Andrick and Evan and Petey and all those guys. Also, we were really good. We were really good. Where was Petey?
What's that?
Petey.
Yeah, Brian Peterson. We had him on last week on a podcast. He's been doing really well, and you know, he's such a nice man, and we were very fortunate to have him on. Really nice man. And as Julie said, all those years we were really good. We had some really good players. Good. So that made it, I'm sure, a lot of fun.
It was not fun to see him out.
This guy. Y'all remember Major? That guy Major that played basketball?
Bloom.
Where is he? Where's Major?
I know. We try to find him on Facebook. I can't find him. And I've Googled his name and just can't find him.
So guess who, guys? So here's a funny story for some of you guys. So guess who was living in Houston the entire time I was living here also? The twin, the other twin. What's his face?
The other twin, what's his face? That narrows it down.
Kelvin and Kevin.
What?
Kevin.
Yes, Kevin and Kelvin. Remember those two?
Are you still in touch with them?
Yeah, I see Kelvin all the time.
Are you kidding me? What? Oh my gosh, this is the mother load. You have no idea.
You guys
30 years.
Because I went to Florida A&M, so I know his wife. So we all went to FAMU together. Like, you know, he's 4 years ahead. So he's with you guys. So when I was a freshman, he was a senior, but I know his wife. Then they moved to Houston, then I moved to Houston. So we see each other all the time. So Kelvin is like one of the people I've known in this country outside of you guys the longest. And like we've lived in every city, went to every school. It's a damn thing.
Julie, I have Julie.
Kelvin Daniels, let me
Julie,
know.
yeah, I have to interrupt. Julie, you have to connect with them and tell them that we're trying to reach them. Like give them our number. I've been trying to reach Kelvin. I went to Sunday school with Kelvin and Kevin. I talked them into going to Bayshore. So I've been trying to reach them for 30 years.
Yeah, they were on my team.
Yeah.
I know you guys always, because he was always 4 years. Like when I got to Bayshore, that's when he was on his way out. So I'll connect you guys.
Yeah,
but
please.
I see him all the time.
That's unbelievable. That's great.
And what about Andrick Frazier? What happened to Andrick Frazier? You remember him, little short guy?
She's asking all the good questions.
Andrick Frazier. He's a very highly successful CEO of some energy company, very, very wealthy and successful. His kids go to Tampa Prep. So I'm pretty sure he's based out of Tampa.
So I'll Facebook him.
Yeah, please.
Is Derek?
Derek is in Tampa.
Derek,
we're gonna have Derek on the show like in 3 weeks.
Yeah, we should have Derek. I'm sorry.
Was he principal of high school?
I think he's a teacher. He might be a principal, but I know he's coaching Jefferson this year, I think, and he's going to come on our show in about a week or two.
So Derek is coming on the show.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. We got to look up all this. So I will make it a point to track down Kelvin, get him to join the page and say that you guys are looking for him.
Yeah, we love those guys. I can't wait to reconnect with them.
Sure.
So let's before we leave this episode, and we're nowhere near, we got a long way to go, but make sure that we talk about y'all's businesses, experiences, things that you want to share about your life now. But that'll be at the end. I want to circle back to Amanda. So Amanda, we've talked about game night. We've talked about the shout outs. And you may have mentioned some teachers, but make sure to mention their last name as well, because some people may not know. What are some of the teachers you remember? Are there some classroom experiences like, oh my God, did they just say that? What are they writing on the board? Just something about the class and the school experience, if you could let us know.
Again, school was my safe place and my excited place. So everybody that thought that I was super nice and that I loved school, it was absolutely true. So I really was kind of all about Bayshore, and I'm still now all about Bayshore until about junior and senior year when I checked out. People were surprised. But anyhow, obviously Mr. Piazza and how he would just challenge us, and he was fun. Mrs. Way, I have so many stories of where she just poured into me, and she was hard. She was tough. And I've always appreciated strong people who were strong with me, who taught me how to be strong. Of course, Mrs. Lancaster, when I was younger, I had Tracy for several years, Tracy Shade, Gigi Erickson, who I still communicate with, my first grade teacher. Everybody, let's see. I communicate almost with everybody. I can tell you who I didn't like, Mr. Ross. I did not like him.
Oh my God.
Don't mince words. Tell us what you really think.
I could also just tell you how appreciative I was of just so many different people. I'm trying to think. There was one other story to say. I mean, Chandra's on here. Chandra and I, she and I became excellent friends at Bayshore. She was a strong person, in my life. Love you, Chandra. Brian, of course, we would talk after school because if I wasn't in sports or if I wasn't, and the main reason I probably signed up for cheerleading is because basketball is my favorite, and I loved watching the game. And who doesn't like watching guys play basketball? It's absolutely exhilarating. And watching girls play basketball is not quite as exhilarating, but it's certainly fun to play. And it was just fun to be a part of all of that.
I want to jump in and say that Jessica Hill.
Hey, Jessica.
She's saying hello, and so is Chandra. If I'm pronouncing that right, forgive me. And Jessica says she just got off the phone with Tracy Sade.
I gotta give a shout out. I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt.
Oh, here comes
Brenda
Julie.
Sade is in the chat. I have not seen Brenda Sade since literally I was 17 years old. Oh my God.
Girl, we get in trouble. Well, we don't get in trouble, but we get in trouble all the time. Another reason to hang out.
Brenda was so cool. Oh my God, Brenda Sade.
She's still super cool.
Right now, we have the most participants ever with the most comments ever. So that's we totally did it to bring our own ratings up. So
that's okay.
Let's circle to Missy and Missy. Just like we asked Amanda, we want to ask all four ladies what were your memories of the classroom? Not just a shout out, but was there something that happened in the classroom? What was a Friday night like without basketball? Was it Britton Plaza, Twin Bays? What was your?
That's where all my friends were. I was probably at my house watching like Aladdin with John Michael. And you know what? Even when I was dating John,
wait, this is a good part. Dating Jonathan Johnson. Go ahead.
Well, we were dating, but I mean, like, I couldn't date. I mean, we would maybe talk on the phone on a Friday night. Probably I had allowable like 15 minutes on the phone with him, maybe on a big Friday night if there was no basketball game. I don't know.
I was allowed 5 minutes as well.
But I mean, you can be sure I was not with my friends. I mean, they were all out there like smoking cigarettes. They were getting dropped off at the movies. And of course, my mom was having a stroke every time because it was Bayshore, you guys. We had 30 people in our graduating class. There were no secrets. Right. And it was Britton Plaza and it was South Tampa. And so, of course, anything that happened, they got caught immediately, but then they were doing it again the next Friday night. Somehow they were back at Britton Plaza smoking cigarettes. So I don't know what happened, but I wasn't there for most of it. I would hear about it on Monday or, at church, like, somebody got in trouble and we hear about it at Sunday school, but
Chandra and I broke one of those TVs, carrying it to Mr. Piazza's class. Chandra and I broke one of those TVs, rolling it to Mr. Piazza's class.
Oh, wow.
And it chucked over. We can't live that one down.
You mean the TV VCR combo?
The TV that used to be strapped down where you had to walk it to class.
Oh, I did think of a
combination, and it had that big like a belt on it, like one of us was gonna tote it and steal it. I remember that.
We tipped it over and we broke it. Yes. We tipped it over and we broke it.
Like the one TV that we had for the entire campus.
That's right.
One TV.
So I used to roll it across the red square.
It looked like Missy had another story, and then we're going to go to Jacqueline again.
Well, I only thought it's one I probably shouldn't share. Like, I shouldn't be proud of it, but it's
I don't think anything can top the first story. So feel free.
No, it won't. But Amanda, she talked about how her and Chandra were, just.
Oh, wait. Chandra is on.
Chandra, yes.
Sorry, you weren't supposed to tell this story.
Late.
But
now.
No, but go ahead, please, Missy.
I think, okay, so I thought of this story because they were vandalizing the school property. So one time we were in the locker room. It was after PE on a random day. Like probably Miss Hardwick was the coach maybe at that time. I don't know. But a couple of us in the locker room just got this, I don't know if somebody bumped into the door or something. They hit it with a basketball cart. Remember the basketball carts? And they'd always come in out of the locker room. And so like we were putting it away or something and they bumped it. And this is even sounding sillier as I think of it. Somehow we started they were like freaking out because we put a little hole in the door. Like, oh my gosh, we're going to get in so much trouble. What are we going to do? And so I was like, that's nothing. And so I took a thing, like it was a metal pole. I don't know if it broke off the cart or what, but I just like hit the door. It made a big hole and it was the silliest thing. But then there was like 2 or 3 of us that were trying to make a bigger hole. Ended up in Mr. Thornton's office. I don't know, remember Mr. Thornton.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. It was horrific. You could imagine. I bawled my eyes out. I was in tears. I'm sure I was grounded. My dad gave me a choice. First of all, I had to pay for the door. I was the only one in the group. The other kids didn't even get in trouble. I had to go sit down, tell everybody what happened, apologize, ask forgiveness. And then he gave me a choice. I don't remember what the consequence choices were, but I know one of the choices was to rake 5 bags of leaves. And so I thought, all right, five bags of leaves. Big whoop. Oh my gosh. I never, ever forgot that. He probably helped, and I probably barely did like a half, but I was dying. I was just like, oh, this was just the worst punishment in the world. And yeah, so you're not the only one that vandalized the BCS property at some point.
That is so funny. That is so funny. We want to, real quick, ladies, if you could check, we're getting a little feedback. So if you look at if you got any other devices with their volume up. And then we want to turn to Jacqueline. Jackie, we've heard from the other ladies on the show about, you know, non-cheerleading stuff like hallway, dating, movie night on Friday. And after you, we'll go back to Julie. But tell us a little bit about a non-cheer event that you remember from your Bayshore days.
Let me take this away. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
1 second, guys.
I told this story to Steve, but 6 years ago I played basketball with Brian Peterson, and I was so competitive on this. We went to the Y, and I believe we won, but I was so competitive. Somehow I ended up on the ground, and he reached out his hand to help me, and I just hit his hand away. I was like, hit away. And then I looked up and saw who it was, and I was like, oh, crap.
He's such a nice guy, and
but I got to play with them, so
right.
that's for you guys.
The legend. Jacqueline, what do you remember from non-cheer stuff? And then we'll go to Julie. Movie night. You were mentioning some parties. No Mary Poppins answers. The best answer you got.
Well, just listening to everybody else, I actually did not vandalize anything. I did not break anything. I guess in the long run, I'm actually the Halo Saint one.
Very good.
What do I remember? Oh gosh, I mean, I lived far away, so I just remember.
Jackie, remember when you used to work at Chuck E. Cheese?
I was getting some kind of, like, because they used to dance. The dancers in Chuck E. Cheese were like a big deal when it was a birthday party.
Was this
was
this the Brandon one in like
Yeah.
next split theater?
Oh wow,
that's glorious. That's go
She's
ahead.
so cute.
What's glorious is that my size height was just perfect for actually being the mouse.
Yeah.
I was Chuck E.
I
I thought I was the shit until they're like, okay, now wear the costume. I'm like, what? Like, no. I don't remember much. Like, I do remember, I hung out with the guys. Like, Arnie Duma was my best friend. Chad Wooten, hung out with him a lot. I mean, I was a girl's, guy's girl, like, I don't, I mean, I loved all the girls. I mean, they were sweet and all, but they had already formulated, their
circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was fine with me. I mean, I'm a circle and a square, so it's like,
Really good. That's really awesome. That Chuck E. Cheese stuff is great. Julie, outside of cheerleading, what do you remember? Oh, though she's got the eyes going. She's ready for this question.
I already know what I'm gonna bring up.
Okay, well, no, please, we'll let you go. Go ahead.
Who let Paula White have a church? We're gonna talk about it. Let's work backwards. Because I still need to come on, Melissa. Get back in the camera, Melissa. I've been waiting.
That's the only deal breaker.
2 seconds, and y'all lost your rabbit ass.
Who's next, Steve? Keep it moving, buddy. Let's keep it
I
rolling,
knew
dude.
I knew ours was coming out. I knew it.
Chris, help, Chris, help.
Let me tell you what happened.
at a loss.
Listen, you know, when I start talking with my hands. Now listen, I was sitting in Minneapolis. So when you said Indianapolis, I was like, wait, I lived in Minneapolis for 5 years, guys, after business school. So I went and got my MBA from Rice. Shout out to the Owls, Rice Owls. And I was in Minneapolis. You know how like it's like 3 a.m, it's snowing. I was like, I can't sleep. So I'm just flipping. And you get on one of those 800 type of church shows. And I was like, who is this? You know how the dog, when it looks confused, I was like, oh, got my JV and sometimes might be my varsity cheerleader coach. Paula White. No, I had to Google it, guys. And sure enough, I was like, have I been gone that long from Florida? Let me get back to Florida and correct all of this shit. That went wrong. Jesus, fix it, Jesus. Anyway, I had to get that up in my chest.
So the best teacher was Piazza.
Piazza.
What? What you say, Jack?
Best teacher ever.
Who, Paula White?
Oh, Mr.
Piazza. We're going to talk about Mr. Piazza now. Yes, Jackie for president. Let's do that.
Mrs. Way, because I will always remember Mrs. Way as being my favorite teacher, my best teacher, my touchstone. She was always so calm, so relaxed. You know, she always smelled good. And I talked to her about going to college. She's the first person I talked about going to college. Like, what was I going to do with my life after Bayshore?
She bought me a Tiffany bracelet when I graduated.
What?
Yeah, she talked to me about, you know,
she could buy me the Tiffany bracelet.
Was she even there when you were in school?
Actually, my senior year was her first year there.
Okay.
My history teacher, and yeah, she was great, man. I really loved her. I tell you what, she was a great teacher. My favorite teacher though was Miss Lancaster. She was the arts teacher there at the time when I was a senior. And I just love Miss Lancaster to death.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but Brenda Chade has 2 things going. She has Mr. Thornton, LOL, exclamation point. And I want to know if the cheerleaders got paddled just like the basketball players.
I believe I answered that one for her. I said, I did not. We did not. Okay. No, we were all people.
Did something happen after 1992?
What about she was English teacher and
I think Perry Anderson can tell you about some paddles though.
Who? Jackie, were you talking about Miss she was Miss Lee?
Jackie.
Miss Bright. I don't know what year you had her. Sullivan, Bryce, Conover, Lee. She was
Julie Gutierrez.
I loved her, but I loved her. You know why I loved her? Because all those bad kids that were trying to keep me from doing my work, she would not let them get away with that. So I liked her.
Who were some of the bad kids? Who were some of the bad kids?
No, we're not doing that.
There's one more thing outside of cheerleaders, so now I can do true confession.
No, wait, yeah. Let's go back to Jules.
It wasn't you.
Hold on, I gotta say one thing outside of cheerleading. So since we're doing true confessions, so if I was 16, damn, it's been a long time. That was like something years ago. So I did date somebody from one of our rival schools, you guys.
Oh, hold on.
Julie.
And like, it's just like Melissa and like the girl said, it was Bayshore Christian dating. So basically your mom standing over you, you can only talk on the phone, can't go to the house. When you go to the movies, mom had to take you there and pick you up. None of that. You guys remember this guy from Jesuit called Andre Kerwin?
I don't know.
He's in Tampa now. It's like big time guy in Tampa. Andre
no,
Kerwin.
But this is real life dating tales for you right here.
Yeah, this is when like Derek and Andrick and PD, all those guys were there, but he was really good. He played for Jesuit. And his sister played for the, that girls' school on Bayshore Boulevard.
Academy.
The Academy, the girls from the Academy.
You recognize with the other school? Julie, how dare you?
I know. I totally school. We saw one movie.
You're here, Jackie. I'm with you.
A Disney
Trader.
So yeah.
Trader.
No, Jules, go ahead, please.
I dated someone from Jesuit. Take
all
my
right.
pom. Take them. Take all my pom-poms. I tell them.
So, what was it like dating him? Was he fun? I mean, I know your mother's in the background not letting you say anything.
And his mom was less than, it's from a family of doctors, so he was super fun, super chill. Like just real, we were very PC. It was not like dating like how people date now. It was very, get off the phone at 8:00, or your mom would get off the phone and be like, that's enough talking, very chaperoned and just very, but yeah, he was in the same boat I was in. So it was normal because, a lot of people in Tampa and at public schools, like my friends from Griffith and other places in North Tampa, they would be like, well, what's it like? What is it like going to a school like that? Like they viewed us as different, like having a different experience from them. They're out there wilding out until 1 a.m. and stuff. I'm like 9 p.m. I'm in the house. So they just thought anyone that went to like Tampa Prep, Jesuit, the Academy, Bayshore, Berkeley, that we were all just really different. Like we had a whole different life that they didn't understand. So dating him was normal. It was a comfort zone for me.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's really cool.
That lasted for like 3 hours.
I like to know who owns the payphone now. Like, where's that payphone now? If that payphone could tell all stories back then. Remember the payphone in the red top?
Yeah.
Right.
They took it out, right, Amanda? What happened to it?
Right.
Which one? What part?
The payphone on the red top. What happened to it?
Oh, yeah, no, it's on. It's on. That was great. For everybody.
Smithsonian. Should be in the Smithsonian.
That
took it out.
That payphone is the one who knows everything.
That payphone, I remember a while back, before the Blocker interview. I don't know, maybe was Blocker on before Blocker?
Payphone?
He said something about that day that Heskett, that he went in, put a quarter in and called. It was the day of the Robinson game.
Right.
And those chicks showed up and were harassing Tiff. And he's like, but I went and put a quarter in that payphone, and the Heskett drove up on his truck on the red top. It's the payphone.
So you remember that? You remember that happening?
Yeah.
We used to congregate around that payphone.
That was epic. That was a big deal, man. That was a big deal for us. We didn't always have, we weren't allowed to do a lot of things on the red top, much less drive your truck on the red top. So that's something you're going to remember.
Yeah. The payphone. Oh my God. Remember the alley by the music? Who was our professor?
Mr. Carter's room.
Hey, hold on, ladies. I'm sorry to interrupt. Missy is posting online on Facebook that she did get paddled once, unrelated to Thornton and/or cheering. So we're going to need to know about that. And then also,
boring.
Chandra says, sounds like we all had the same dating rules. So
yeah.
I don't know.
No privacy, crazy parents, and complete provision.
Jackie, was your dating similar to the other girls?
No. I dated one person from school, and never again did I say. I'm like, I never again, because everybody's friggin' business, and and it was like.
I remember having that conversation with you in Spanish class.
It was like the Jets and it was like the two wars of, because I came in, had no idea that Missy Casera had a relationship for years and years with JD. Like
JD Whiteside.
I had no idea of all that. And they had, I was like,
JD. How long did you date JD?
Not long enough.
Girl, hold on. I think
no, but see, what you don't know is that it was like, automatic, like balls went up just because. But this is the new girl that came in not knowing shit. I mean, I don't know anybody's past or who had their claws on somebody. After that one, I was like, that's it. No more high school kids.
Get JD into this conversation. I want all the tea. That is hilarious. I want the tea.
He literally had this conversation. We were in Spanish class, and she was honest. She's like, I'm done. Nope, we're not doing any of this. Yeah.
Chris, Chris Pate, you do remember that when we started this, we were just going to talk about 1993 Bayshore versus Tampa Prep, right?
Yeah.
Never in a million years.
That's what you wanted. You picked the wrong crew.
That's right.
We started talk about.
When we started these podcasts, all we want to do is get our top 10 out there. That was basically it.
Now we got to talk about everything that we always wanted to say, but never had the chance to.
Very good.
Well, when you're on the cheerleading squad, it's different than being in sports. When you're in sports, if you're in disagreement with someone, you got to get over that stuff very quickly, get back in and figure out how to be a team again. When you're a cheerleader, you have breaks and you can give each other the eye and you can be upset with each other and you can talk. And then next thing you know, somebody's starting like, 1, we are the Warriors 2. And then somebody hits the damn bleachers again, and you're like, 1, we are the Warriors 2. And you smile. And then it's done. And then you look back over and you still see them talking about you, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's just wrong. Get over it.
All I remember is the incessant down, the court, raise the score, down the court, raise the score. That's all I remember.
Do you guys remember when I brought back the wave?
Remember that?
I would run like a crazy person all the way down,
all the way around the gym, all up on the bandstand. That's what we were. Crazy.
We got spirit. Yes, we do. We got spirit. How about you? I felt like it was our job. Like, everybody be quiet. This is our job right now. These guys are playing. They need us. These parents are here. We're on for a show. Be quiet. Let's get this done.
Ladies, there's a couple more comments. Tracy Shade says, I feel like I'm hearing secrets I shouldn't know. And
the good thing we didn't talk about that hallway.
Hold on.
Did you guys have a name for the hallway?
Mr. Cabot, the hallway. Time for the hallway. Go ahead, Melissa.
No, Julie brought that up.
Oh, Julie. Julie.
I remember. Okay, so let me tell you guys about the hallway by the music hall. Yes. That was the first time I kissed someone, and I bet you guys will never guess who it is. You'll never guess who it is.
Give me 3 choices.
What happened in the hallway?
Girl, that's the whole damn school. That's everybody.
3 choices.
3 choices. That's everybody.
Listen, you're at a private school. Laws of probability rule.
Okay, so you guys remember this guy? Y'all remember when Gaylord came to the school?
Oh.
You don't remember?
Girl, I know that's why you're giggling. I already know why you're laughing. You're not slick. You remember when Gaylord came to school? That was my first kiss, guys. It was Gaylord.
I feel a lot better about myself now because I don't even know what the hallway was. You guys are the ones.
I mean, girl, that hallway. If that hallway could talk, people were getting busted left and right in that hallway all the time.
I think, in all fairness, Jackie, you were probably the only one that was out allowed to be having fun, not in that hallway. Like, maybe you didn't have to only kind of sometimes risk your life and sneak off to that hallway.
The hallway was for the repressed with the crazy not allowed to date. You know, the hallway was for, listen, if I want any type of social life, I better take my ass to the hallway before 3:45.
Got 3 minutes between classes, too.
You didn't know nothing about the hallway. You had a normal, like, a whole childhood parties and stuff. No, we would go
to the music room hallway.
The music room hallway, boy, if those walls could talk.
Yeah, I've got a few hallway stories myself, but.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
You repressed.
Chris, I hope your teacher was there at the time.
Shay was on here, and I mentioned this to her the other day, but that's so funny. She says she does not lie. But I also wanted to say another thing about what was wonderful about getting together and ready with the cheer group was, for me, being a part of everybody's family. And one thing with her dad was that we went one time to get ready with her family, which I wouldn't normally have done. But I didn't have anywhere else to go, so I was thankful. And her mother and father were just so kind. I remember going up to the stairs to the house, and it was just such a loving atmosphere, and it was just so wonderful. And that was some of the other wonderful stories, is about getting ready and getting to know everybody on a different level. And it didn't matter to me what the stories were. I've never been judgmental about any of that kind of thing. I've loved everybody for who they are, and thankful that a lot of people love me for who I am. And I've just been very appreciative of those little moments, those little peaks in people's lives.
I'm feeling a lot more innocent than I thought I was, because you guys, see, the one that was not so shy is the one that's not so bad, because it's y'all that knew the hallway. I didn't know the hallway. I didn't know. I'm not that bad, all you guys.
No?
No, we were excited when, okay, so girls, remember when it was that one year when we switched to cheerleading uniforms from the not so boys. Remember the ones where we went from the all gold to like the maroon, the white and gold with a shorter skirt, not the flouncy skirt, but we got the shorter skirts. And it was such a controversy. Oh my gosh, whole school down. Remember that? I remember that.
I just remember getting in trouble for rolling our skirts up. Like they were already too
You
short.
know you're cheerleading.
They were
awesome.
so long. I mean, they were huge and long. And then all the other girls had like the short cut with the split, the body con, and we had like the tight. We had like
Julie,
the front, like a ball.
you always had those great legs, though. I mean, and you still
girl,
do.
I mean, you know, girl. I mean,
yeah, I know. I know.
You know, Johnson had the best legs. I mean, I was still second, but no one was beating Heather. Nobody was beating her. But yes, I mean, I tried. I did what I
know.
But yeah,
there was no school uniform until my senior year. We had to buy a school uniform for just 1 year.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so bad.
We knew I was going to be a life sentence. So when we had to buy them, they were just going to have a good 6 years in them still.
When I went to school, there was no uniforms. I guess what we're saying is 93, the uniforms, is that when the uniform started, was 93?
Our senior year, we had uniforms.
And shoes, and the shoes, the Nike shoes.
Cheerleading uniforms?
Any loafers?
No, like school uniforms came in. Jackie saying 92, 93 was the year they had.
92 maybe, 92. Yeah, no, I wore loafers.
We wear whatever we want.
Yeah, Jen Larkin wore her Doc Martens.
The only individuality you had was your shoes. You could wear, right. I mean, you could wear.
They ended the individuality with the school uniforms.
When did uniforms start, guys?
My senior year, 92.
93, somewhere.
Yeah, but you had some girls, and they started wearing the chokers, and then some would like do the Doc Martens with the shirt open with the t-shirt underneath it. Like they still found ways to, push the envelope and be rebellious and still like show their personality, even though we had the uniform.
Personality.
Yeah, I graduated spring 92, so I just dodged that bullet. So.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask this question. I missed that, Jackie. I'm sorry. I wanted to ask this question of you ladies. Was there ever a time, and each of you, if you have an answer, was there ever a time in which you were mistreated by the opposing fans, or the opposite, they really dug y'all because you were Bayshore cheerleaders, and like during the game or after the game before? Tell us about that experience. We'll start with you, Missy.
I just remember when I was, in love with Jonathan Johnson, and I was young. I was way younger than him, but he was, of course, like, the star player. So I remember people giving me crap, like on the red top before or after, like they would just talk trash about him. Like he was going to play poorly, or, I mean, I don't even know, like leaking back, I don't remember what trash talk would be, but I do remember like I was just this, it was always about him. Like they were jealous of him, or they were going to not let him dominate or something. But okay. I don't remember I remember like sometimes just silly things about that, but not necessarily just for being Bayshore, except those certain times, like what we were talking about, like when the bus, like when we had to be escorted off of school because it was like scary. I remember some of those things, but not like personally getting made fun of or jeered at or something.
I think a lot of the girls on the other opposing teams, players or cheerleaders, or just there, they were all on the bandwagon of Andrick and Derek, and they were there for them. Like,
right.
Like, you're not taking ours. You can, they're their own people, dude. Just because we got to school them.
Don't hate.
I mean, I remember that more.
I remember that.
That's really good.
I just remember hoping that we wouldn't get beat up after the games. Because
Never worried about getting beat up. They've been worried about me.
I guess because we were a 1A school, smaller, but we were so good. I always just like, I just don't want to get beat up. I just want to get back to the bus. I just want to cheer and go home. I always felt like, people were just openly hostile towards us. I don't know.
Okay.
I was oblivious to it all. I was like a politician going up to everybody's families, talking with them afterwards. I was just so happy to see everybody. I wanted to hear what their parents were up to and what this person was doing and did they game. And then we went out. I mean, it was a large crowd. It was exciting and it was exhilarating. And we were done. And then I had to go home.
The rest of it went to Britain Plaza.
Britain Plaza.
Unsupervised.
Britain Plaza.
That's awesome.
So ladies, what staying on the basketball theme real quick is what game, like you just mentioned how sometimes we were so good after a game, the crowd exiting the building. What game do you remember, the actual basketball part, not a story, not a bus ride home, but you were like, wow, that was really fun. We won that game. Is there any games you remember like that? And we'll start with Jackie.
I thought it was like the Tampa and the Jesuit games. Like whenever we beat, when they were the team sought after. We were the it was like, we were known, but when we got there, we weren't expected to win. I guess it wasn't.
Yeah, we were known, but not respected. Known, but not respected. Like they knew we were great, but they looked at us as these little Christian kids. So that's exactly right.
Right. And I think that's where all the anger.
Yeah, go ahead, Jackie. I'm sorry.
I think that's where all the anger came. I think that's where the anger came from, was when we came in and it was just like, it was unexpected for them. It wasn't unexpected for us to win because we just kept winning. But then that's when all the hurry, scurry into the into the bus, hurry. I'm like, what in the world? I mean, I had no idea it was that, it was that dangerous basketball.
Right. Jules, a game you remember, if any?
I don't remember one particular game. I'll give you two stories. My favorite away games were always at Tampa Prep. I don't know why those games was so much fun. I think, to Jackie's point, because we did win some really good games, like some close call games against them, and the expectation was always that we would lose. But when we used to beat them in their home gym, I remember those Tampa Bay Prep games for some reason just used to be so much fun. Now, the one game I do remember, it was a really good game we played at Bayshore. It was like Petey and Derek and the whole crew. It was never, and I think it was a double overtime. I can't remember. But I remember we were cheerleading within an inch of our life. Oh my God, I was exhausted after that game. Right. But some of those home games that were just people were just going crazy. I used to have so much fun. So I cannot pinpoint a specific one, but I just remember our home games used to just be the best time ever. I can remember that.
That's great. Missy, a game you remember, and then Amanda?
I was just thinking of even that one the other night when you did with Bo's miracle shot, I just remember screaming so hard and so loud. But I remember I wasn't just cheering, I was really in the game with these guys and I was really watching, so I totally lost my train of thought. What's the trail?
Game you remember?
Game you remember?
Yeah, just screaming so hard and so genuinely, and then we'd all go to school the next day and not have a voice because we'd been screaming so hard and just so passionate about it. But I don't, some of the pictures, when you post a certain picture, or all the ones at the big, when we did Final Fours, of course, those games, I remember going out there. I can remember the smell of that arena. I feel like I remember the way the clothes felt on us and the way that the huddle felt and smelled, and at that time of the game, everybody was wearing cologne and we were just starting, so trying to be in a huddle, so I have some really vivid memories, but when you guys just talk about certain games, that doesn't really.
Yeah. Sure. And Amanda, what do you think? Do you remember a specific game or a game that sticks out the most?
I like what Melissa said in the sense of that when we came back the next day, and I do remember a game, but I just want to piggyback on this, that you're right, Melissa. It was, Bayshore is a lot about, or can be a lot about sometimes the boys basketball. And especially during that time when the girls hadn't quite gotten up to volleyball and what Melanie has brought to the table and how everything has improved. It's almost like we laid those bricks, you know, for some of those things to happen. And there were blood and sweat. And I still run suicides, but there were times where you almost threw up, and we just did every single sport and every single thing there was. But anyhow, when it came to cheering, we were a part of something. And then when you came back the next day, you were able to talk about it with everybody. And even if somebody wasn't on the team, which it was so much about the team, they were about it. We were all in community together, and it was just a really cool thing. So thanks for bringing that up, Melissa, because that was a good feeling, good memory to remember that was something that brought everybody together. I probably would still like the Clearwater High game, only because it was probably, you know, I was, you know, sheltered. So going to a public school and playing against them. And also we played against a Jesuit, and I remember playing in that arena too. It was two different feelings about it. Yeah. Clearwater was raw, and I don't remember if we won. I just remember we tried. We played really hard and tough, and it just was a different vibe in there. And Jesuit felt richer, you know, honestly, right. different vibe of the people that were in there. But both had a lot of energy and, you know, a dark, quiet ride home.
Right. Yeah. Well, you hit on a few things there, and then we'll circle to the next question. And that was the Clearwater High School game was the Bright House Cable game of the week. So it was on television, and you can see a lot of those highlights. We put them on the YouTube channel with the announcers talking about Derek and Andrick and John and all the guys from that team. We lost by 4, but the highlights of Derek Smith and Andrick Frazier are unlike anything you'll ever see. So that's something that you have that memory. And then of course, Jesuit, you hit on it right there as well. When you think of Jesuit and Tampa Catholic, you think the professional and business class of the city. When you think of Tampa Prep, Berkeley Prep, you think of scientists and going to Ivy League. Bayshore is a family, and it's got it all. Like you've got blue collar, and you've got people like Julie that have succeeded in the professional fields. And so you've got everybody, and it's when we say family, it actually is, we mean it. It's not just saying it. So I think that's really cool. And I've got a few more questions, Chris, but I've done a lot of the talking. Do you have a one to jump in with? And so I don't keep stealing your thunder.
No, I'm good. Eating my popcorn, having my Twizzlers, drinking my bourbon, enjoying the show.
I told Chris the only thing we needed to know tonight is that I graduated, so we're all good.
Yeah. I did want to ask Missy the one thing. Can you tell us about that really good economics teacher that you had your senior year?
What happened?
I just... there's an explanation. Like I fell down the stairs that year, or I must have had a traumatic event. Maybe that's the year my dad went away to seminary.
I was Missy's economics teacher her senior year.
Oh, John Blocker's watching. Blocker, I think you should come out on January 16th. We need to get you new socks with your face on it, knee highs, and I think you need to play against your brother.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be worth the price of entry.
Please come out.
So. All right. So last question I have, and we're going to want you to close with your memories of Bayshore and tell us about your professional experiences. But the last question I have, is there a Tampa memory? And you may have already mentioned one, but is there I remember going, and we've already mentioned the movie theater, Britton Plaza, Mission Bell up near Carrollwood in North Tampa. Is there a Tampa memory? Doesn't have to be with Bayshore kids, but from that era, that time frame, that is really funny, or that you would like to share, or that you really remember. And we'll start with Jackie on that one.
Oh gosh, I mean, being away from Tampa has made me even more appreciate. I mean, I had my Rays hat on, rubbing it all in, talking so much shit over here And of course, they had to do me wrong. But anyway, I don't know. I just have to say that it was like the old sombrero to me with my dad.
Right.
Those were back in the days, places like that. Like, I mean, I walked. I'm one of the very few in the sea of Colts fans, like still with my Tampa Bay and Bella, even my daughter, sports day, and she's wearing Buck stuff. It's like that's me growing up. I mean, it's old sombrero. I love Raymond James Stadium. Don't get me wrong, but that's the shit. And then being the only Rays fan in like the whole stadium where there's all just Yankee fans and all that. It's good to see the team go far. So it can be the opposite, where we can go away with the Yankee fans and bring into Ballast Point. Does everybody remember that? Is it Ballast Point? Is that?
Oh yeah.
Or with it? That was a big hangout, and is it? Well, I guess it's Aaron Knight's dad. Is it Peter O'Knight's?
Yeah.
The airport. Yeah, the
Davis
night
Island.
Right.
Davis Island. All that was hangout. It's like.
Yeah, I was thinking about
memories. Those were hangouts back then,
That's really cool.
But no, I mean, I really was more PG. I am glad that I did this because now I feel like I wasn't as bad as I really thought I was.
Jackie, you weren't.
Jules, remembering Tampa, not necessarily a Bayshore story, but could be anywhere in the city. What do you remember from that period that you haven't shared yet tonight? Please tell us.
One of my favorite things about Tampa, growing up there when I moved here from England, was just kind of like coming into my own as an American citizen and a whole new world type of thing. You only appreciate Tampa when you live like in 10 different cities, which I have. And it's something like when I go home and just walk down Bayshore Boulevard or just go to Ybor City, or just do simple stuff like that. Or just go to Publix in Carrollwood because we don't have Publix in Texas.
Oh, there's Publix.
Publix. We can get a Publix in Texas. Just take my money. Take my money, please. Florida, things that are unique to Tampa that you could not get anywhere else. Like the scenery behind University of Tampa on the river. You don't appreciate that scene at night until you move away. So it's just, I wish I had spent more time because to be honest with you, outside of my formative years at Bayshore, once I went to Florida A&M, and, then I just kept going, to New York and then Minneapolis and Houston. So I just wish I wish now I could spend more time as an adult in Tampa. So I think
very good.
Tampa, just those spots where you only appreciate them when you don't live there. So
that's really good. And Melissa, what are you thinking about in terms of Tampa? Are you still in Tampa? I missed that part at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm still in Tampa. I'm
you're in Land O'Lakes.
Well, yeah, Tampa Bay area.
Right.
Yeah, but you were talking about not necessarily from Bayshore, and I'm like, but there is no not Bayshore for me because even though I grew up there at the school, and then there was the church too. That was our life. Yeah. My whole life was pretty much there. So I know I went and did stuff in all these places that we're mentioning, and I love it even today. Even the amphitheater downtown by Riverwalk, or we all have some of those Ballast Point, stories and good times on Bayshore Boulevard, and like Raymond James. I went to college at HCC on Dale Mabry.
Oh, yeah,
and just went back what was that? That was late 90s, but yeah, I mean, just they were all with Bayshore people, or they were after something from Bayshore. So
that's really good. And Amanda, last call on the final memories, or for the final question for tonight's show. Your memories from Tampa. You're still in Tampa as well, so you're not. No, I think you're in St. Pete, right?
I'm in Clearwater. Yeah, but my children go to Bayshore now, so we are now second generation Bayshore people.
Very good.
And now, which is interesting, the literal reason why we're back is because I had a dream in January, and I followed that dream, and I'm appreciative of everything that's there. And we definitely need all the alumni to just keep being a part of this, because the one thing that's undeniable, whether it's the music room hall or the any room or the church, there's grace in those walls, and they have been built with memories and tears and happy parts and people sneaking, nothing that is hidden there. And there's absolutely, the foundation is something to be so proud of. So I just want to just give that shout out that when I went back as a parent, because when you're a parent, there's nothing that can like touch your kids. And I was looking around and everything seemed like it was a lot bigger, and there were some things that needed to be updated. I won't lie, it was vintage looking, and things are coming.
I like vintage. I like vintage.
Yeah, I like vintage, but there was an undeniable grace that you can feel, and we're all talking about something that has blessed our lives no matter what direction we went, and that is the grace that's there. So Bayshore was there, and one thing my 8-year-old said this week, because they haven't been able to go into the actual chapel very much, but I remember, I mean, it was such a thing to be in well, I started in first grade, and to make it all the way around to the coveted senior spot. But she went in there the other day, and she's like, Mom, somebody's shooting up a peace sign in there. And I was like, I was there, and I volunteered the other day, and I walked in there, I was like, oh, girl, that's not peace sign, that's Jesus doing an anointing. No idea.
I just got a flashback.
Oh, wait, Julie's got a flashback.
When she said that, I had a whole flashback. Like, wow. Okay.
I was up there crying tears on that top balcony so many times. But anyhow, going to Bayshore, and Lillian's on soccer right now, and we've been driving around. And Ballast Point, we went there today, Jackie, and it's so built up. It's crazy. I remember being a kid there, dropping my mom's keys in it fell, and she had my ass for it, and it was not fun. But, it was so fun just to drive around today and take the kids. They like looking at the houses, and they like going down Bayshore, and we go to these cool little fun places in Hyde Park, and it's fun to be, Hyde Park, and McDill, and even seeing Academy of Holy Names and all the stuff that they've like grown. And I bought some cups from Ashley Zurich just the other day, and went by her new house, and and it's amazing. I try to support local friends. I can't do it all the time. I try to stay in contact, and it's just kind of fun to be back, and my kids have to make their own ways, and they can't be underneath what it was for me. But I'm thankful for the teachers that are there. I played with Antoinette, she's there, and Heather's there, and Melanie's there. And it's really interesting to be back. So I would love to see all you guys in January. It's kind of like reconciliation time. Remember, Melissa, when you said you checked out too, and I totally checked out. I was like, oh, Miss Bayshore. And then 11th, 12th grade, I was like saying stuff that people never believed would come out of my mouth. And I was out, and then I moved out, and I moved in with Jackie, and somehow graduated, and still sang in our graduation, and made decisions and raised kids, and now we're back, and somehow there has to be a God, because he brought it all back. And yes, John Michael, we can kiss our mothers with these mouths, and we're okay with it.
I saw that. Who said, do we kiss our mothers?
My brother.
That's Missy's brother.
He wasn't allowed to go to Britton Plaza either on Friday night.
If he was only allowed.
Oh my goodness.
This is the most peaceful conversation I've had all day. Believe that.
Yeah. So it was a little long-winded, but my kids are there, and I can just tell you it's been kind of, I don't know, it's just been an amazing journey, and I really appreciate everything there, and I appreciate the connections, and it just makes you remember to be a part. I was ready to, like I said, check out, and now I'm cheering for the teams again and feeling the grace in the walls.
Well, if you could definitely give me the dates for January, like what was
okay.
Is it like a weekday or a weekend?
January 16th on a Saturday. And they're playing volleyball, Julie. We can play volleyball again.
I was about to say, so we should probably just make it like a whole weekend.
And then afterwards, we can wear our Christian Louis Vuitton.
Oh my God. Do you know I had to practice how to wear heels, you guys?
All right, ladies. We can spend days later.
I've been wearing flat and flip-flops for 6 months. No heels. Now I have to pull them back out. Okay.
That's a Bayshore lady. We can do it all. We can play
You already
and
know.
dress up.
Yes, exactly. I will start practicing the heels just for you.
That's right.
All right. You guys make your date later.
Yes, Chandler, come out January 16th.
I just want to conclude by saying this has been, without question, the best show we've done so far. It is clearly the highest rated show looking at the Facebook coverage.
Oh, Christina, hello.
We can't thank you ladies enough. And like you said, the last thing I'll say, I'm repeating myself, but when you think about the intersection of South Tampa, Bayshore Boulevard, Ballast Point, Gasparilla, Jody Peterson mentioned, all of the things that intersect into Bayshore Christian really makes that a special place. And so for whatever journeys we've taken, that was really, looking back, a very important part of our lives. And we can't thank you ladies enough for being on the show. So that's the last thing I have, Chris.
Yeah. Again, I just want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. It's been a pleasure. It's been entertaining for me. I finished almost all my popcorn. I just want to say that each one of you ladies, although unique and different, are the embodiment of what a BCS woman would be like. If I were to imagine it. You're smart, you're beautiful, you're successful. It seems like every one of you keeps Christ and God someplace in your life and in your heart. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for being the embodiment. And something to actually look up to.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Dad.
Mr. Cabot, yep, I said that. But anyway, so that concludes our show tonight. Thank you so much for watching. And have a great night. Thanks so much.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye. It was fun chat.
Bye.
Thank you again.